lands are our invaluable assets and resources. It is highly desirable to plant as many trees as possible, especially on barren hills and mountains, so that green valleys could be passed on to our future generations. Yongyil District on the southeast coast of Korea, an industrial area where mammoth industrial facilities, including the nation's largest Pohang steel mill, are scattered. Though it is an important area as the gateway to international air routes as well as industrial district, the land as a whole has long been deserted. But once we resolved to make the area into green, we have made it green within a short period of time, and today the people say that we achieved a miracle in Yongyil District. At last, in September 1973, a bold step was taken to create a miracle at Yongyil Bay, establishing 2 erosion control projects offices and dividing the whole area into 20 sections. Our technical team blueprinted a detailed erosion control project plan. The tenacious people in the Yongyil Bay area were determined to make their own communities into a green area with their own hands, no matter how hard the work would be. Because of the characteristics of soil strata, the use of heavy machinery or equipment would not play their role. Only human hands and strength were required. The movement of soil and sand was prevented by scraping off protrusions by the aid of chisels and large hammers, and by leveling irregularly shaped earth mounds and the surface. Also, the basic grading work and the terracing work proceeded simultaneously to facilitate the growing of trees and vegetation. Where there were steep cliffs, the workers had to depend on ropes. The technical supervisors took charge of not only the work itself, but also safety measures. Everyone on the site was united under a spirit, the spirit of cultivating the barren land into green fields to be passed on to future generations. Here, compost is being moved to the project site. Soil often accompanied where the site was inclined abruptly or the terrace was narrow. In such places, women joined in carrying compost to the site. They all seemed determined in building fertile land. The foundation for planting and seeding was gradually formed as more and more soil and compost were moved to the terraces and the contour ditches. Indeed, tenacity, will, and cooperative spirit, coupled with technical work process, made a foundation for trees to grow in this deserted area. The erosion control project in this Yongyil area also included the building of various structures such as water ducts, soil piling and bearing structures, etc. Here, grass is transplanted on the sloped surface in between terraces to prevent soil and sand from being washed away and to aid vegetation growth. Grass was transported in large quantity here. The fast-growing varieties used soon covered the surface, and part of it took the role of compost for the trees planted. After various structures were built and the basic works completed, tree planting started from the middle of March. In order to protect little seedlings from drying out by direct sunlight after transplanting, seedlings were carried in bags with damp sponge board at the bottom. Seedlings were carefully transplanted in order not to harm their roots. 3 representative species of trees, acacia, alder, and pitch pine, which can adapt themselves to the climate and soil of this part of the country, were planted, 24 million seedlings in total. On April 17, 1975, President Park Chung-hee inspected the Yongyil area, which was changing day after day into green communities. Here, the President was briefed on the proceedings of the project in detail, and then the President encouraged the people concerned and instructed them to prepare compost needed for the project well in advance, to plant many trees around the project area, to dig contour ditches deeper, and to build more head holes. The trees and grass grew well on fertile soil, but as time passed, they needed more compost to grow. So additional compost was supplied to them every year. It was applied carefully not to touch the tree roots and covered with soil to keep it there for trees and vegetation. In some parts, trees stopped growing when additional compost was not applied. Compost was given promptly in such cases, and all the inhabitants joined in voluntarily in growing the trees' grass. The whole area was now adding rich green color. Devastated Yongyil area of 5 years before was no longer there. Green Yongyil had replaced it. The Yongyil district has thus been converted into green, hopeful communities. While the land changed into a green, beautiful area, the people came to have a green dream. The industrial estate by Yongyil Bay now draws ample quantity of industrial water. The project is expected to further aid the industrial development in the area in the future. The erosion control project in the Yongyil area has set a good example that such project could be undertaken successfully by the people in the area. It is expected that such projects will be undertaken in other areas as well. The people of Korea are willing to work hard for their own communities and the country, for they want to pass on to future generations a better place to live and the green will.